Hello, 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 Robin. How are you? Hello, everybody that's out there watching. Um, this is Shirley. So, till we begin, I guess I need to put my little banner thing up since it is not up. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. There we go. So, everybody will know what they're watching. Hi, Val. Hi. How are you? I hope you're well. Miss you, miss you. Hi, Becky. How are you? How's everybody? Let me see. Now I need to come down. Yeah, okay. Part of my head was being cut off. Yeah, so Robin, Val, Becky, everybody out there in YouTube land and Facebook land, thanks for stopping by. I know more and more of you will be coming in. And I do welcome everybody to come in and come into the chat. We do appreciate everybody that comes back or comes in and chat with us. We appreciate it. And if you don't want to chat, that's okay. Just watch as you normally do. So, Val, you say you're still struggling, working your way back. Well, I'm glad to hear that you are working your way back. I kind of figured that you weren't doing um, too well. We miss you with the sew along as well. I kept watching for you. But anyway, I'm glad that you're here tonight, and hopefully you will continue to progress, and all will be much better. I do understand. I do understand. We get at a point in our lives where it does become a struggle. Sometimes you got your good days and your bad days, and we just try to make the best that we can with what we do have that comes our way and hang in there. So you hang in there as well. And like I said, thanks for stopping by. So, Robin, you've been busy. I've been seeing your posting on Facebook. So it looks like you're doing a lot of work and having a lot of fun. That's good. Hi, Marissa. How you doing? Yes, it is. Happy Tuesday. It is Shirley's Wind Down Tuesday, and I have my Moscata d'Asti by Stella Rosa. One of my favorite drinks, wines. Um, Hi, Ann. How are you? How's it going? I hope all is well. Uh, I've had a busy, interesting week. An interesting week. The first part, well, today is Tuesday, so actually, the week from Tuesday to this Tuesday, I consider a week because I don't even remember what day it was. But I woke up, and I definitely won't show you the pictures because the picture was like atrocious. But I woke up and my top lip was swollen so big. It was up to my nose. It was just that big. My top lip was huge. Don't know why. I just woke up in the morning with a swelling. No pain, no itching. Didn't take anything or eat anything that I'm allergic to because I do have some allergies. But I didn't have anything that I'm allergic to. Hadn't taken any new medication or nothing. It was no rhyme or reason to it. So didn't know what happened, but that was interesting. It was a little scary, but everybody told me I need to go to the doctor because I was frightfully look. I looked so frightful. You would have thought it was Halloween, but I didn't go. I just took Benadryl. I just took Benadryl and put ice to it. And it took a day and a half to go down. Well, actually, 2 days to go down to normal. It progressively went down, but took about 2 days. So I had some type of allergic reaction to something. Don't know what it was. It was the weirdest thing. but that was kind of the latter part of last week. So that was really, really weird to me. Don't know. And Marissa, you said, how's the Christmas tree so long coming along? It's coming along. We're moving pretty good on that. Moving pretty good. And Carol, hi, how are you? You said, did something bite me? I don't know. I couldn't find a bite mark anywhere. I know my son asked me about that. Did he said maybe you got bitten or something, and he said look and see if you can see a little tiny bite mark or something. And I got up in the mirror and looked real hard, and I didn't see anything. But that I told him that was something that I thought happened, but I didn't have any pain, and that was the part that was kind of surprising because if you're bitten by something, you should feel something, a prick, a stick, a itch, or something. And I felt nothing. When I woke up, I could feel my lip was swollen before I even got up and went to the mirror. I said, oh, my lip feels swollen. Had no idea. I had no idea how swollen it was. It was so funny. Gosh, it was so funny. So when I came out the bathroom, my husband was already up. I came out the bathroom and I went into the living room and I had my mouth covered. And he said, what's going on? You got your mouth covered. And I took it down. He almost jumped out the chair and turned his head. I said, you can laugh. Go ahead and laugh because I laughed too. He tried not to laugh, but he finally did. And yeah, I did bounce back. It came back to normal. Thank goodness, because I was like, oh my goodness, I can't go around looking like this the rest of my life. And Becky, you said your daughter had that happen to her when she was a child. I never had that. I've had um, swellings before, and like I said, I have allergies. Um, I'm allergic to certain types of foods, and I know to stay away from them. So obviously, I do, and I didn't have anything, not even by accident. So I couldn't figure out what that could have been. It just didn't make any sense. And you said she had an allergy to pickles and her lips turned inside out. Oh my goodness. Well, see, she ate something that she hadn't obviously had before and didn't know, but I didn't eat anything. Definitely didn't eat anything that I was not aware of what I was eating. And I don't even buy stuff that I'm allergic to into my house. So I don't know. That was weird. But that was kind of my week. And it kind of threw me off, getting stuff done. I didn't get a video out like I wanted to for my channel. I was fooling around with that, but the day that I woke up with this swelling, I just took my Benadryl and went back to bed. Wake up, it ain't no better. When a few hours went by, I took some more Benadryl, went back to sleep. I said, I'm just going to try to get this histamine reaction out because, Benadryl is the antihistamine. And whatever was causing the swelling, I wanted that to be rectified. So it worked, obviously. Thank goodness. But that was how my week went. Hi, Marina. How are you? Yes, miss seeing you last week too. How was your trip? I hope you had fun. I'm sure you did. And hopefully you'll be joining us tomorrow. Hopefully you'll be joining us tomorrow. And yes, I am doing better. Thank you so much for asking. And good to see you that you're back. Who else has come in here that I may have not noticed yet? Oh, I think I've the trip was fun and amazing, tons of fun. That's great. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. Glad that you made it back safe and sound. Everything's uh, well. And our the question was asked about the so long. Marissa asked, and we're doing well. Everybody's pretty much on the same level, I think, and I think we're going to get done on time. And hopefully you'll be there tomorrow. Marina, and we can talk more about it. But it is 12 after 8, so I guess I'll get started on my topic, which is threads and needles. Not needles and threads, threads and needles. Thought I'd twist it up. And because of that, I was more interested in the thread part, but I also realized, and I just realized that I had a thread book, a needle book rather, that I should be using, and I don't remember where I put it. I don't know if I put it anywhere near or not, so I'm not going to worry about it since I don't see it right at hand. Anyway, um, again, I see things online, Facebook, what have you, and I was looking at one of the groups, and somebody was asking about issues that they were having with the stitching and the threads. And the conversation came up about machines using different types of threads and people not realizing that just because my machine can use a certain kind of thread brand doesn't mean that your machine can use that same brand. I don't know what it is about these machines, but they're very fickle, it seems. So I thought that I would just kind of bring that up in a topic. So what I did a little research and also always talking about my issues. So I guess that's just part of life. I usually do my AI and I print off the information that I get so I can have it before me to read and go over. And when you know that I ran out of ink, which really made me mad because I had just bought ink, which on top of that made me even more mad because I continued to buy ink often. So, and I have an HP printer that uses cartridges. And the cartridges are not cheap. And I don't know who all has printers and cartridges and stuff, but those cartridges can get expensive. So I'm seriously thinking about getting like an Echo Tank, Epson Echo Tank, or the HP Smart Tank, or one of those printers that supposedly use the bottle that supposedly lasts a year or two before you have to actually buy more ink. I don't know, but that's what I'm planning on doing. So needless to say, I was not able to print out my stuff because, to be honest about it, I did not feel like trying to drive way to Walmart and get a cartridge of black ink because that's what I was out of, black ink. And it would not print anything. I had other inks, but you don't have black, you can't print. So I just was printing and printing and printing. And when I went to my printer to get the paperwork, all the sheets were blank. Every sheet was blank. So it was spitting out paper, but it wasn't printing anything. The paper was clean, so I didn't mess up the paper. It was blank. No, nothing was on it, but it was spitting it out like it was printing. So I'm tired of that printer. I'm done with that printer, so I guess I'll be getting a new printer. So that really kind of got on my nerves. So hi Tisha, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. You said what did you say? Oh, you said the same thing happened to you. You changed the ink cartridge last night and last night and tonight printed 12 pages, and there's barely ink on the pages. See, that don't make no sense. No. And it didn't used to be like that. I don't know what happened. When I bought this printer, it printed a long time before it ran out. And I was doing even more printing then than I am now. And I know I've gotten off subject, but it's kind of led up. And I had bought a big HP. You could print all the way up to 19 inches because I got it when I was doing my scrapbooking. And I wanted to be able to print out the 12 by 12, make my own paper design. and print it out. And I needed at least a 12 by 12 size for my book. So I bought this big printer. It died on me before I moved out of Florida, but I had had that printer. I know I had had that printer 10 years. HP. HP. That printer was a workhorse. But they don't make stuff like that anymore. Same company, but they make them disposable now. Everything is disposable. You use it for a year or two at the most, then you have to get rid of it. And it doesn't make sense. And Robin, you say you use HP Instant Ink. They send it automatically before you run out. And for 300 pages a month, you pay $11 and something for black and color ink together. Now, when I bought my printer, they had some kind of offer like that. And I guess I didn't pay any attention to it. So when, and I bought it in Florida, so it's been a couple of years. When I started realizing that the printer wasn't, I was spending too much money on ink because I was buying ink so much. I wanted to get that started, and they wouldn't let me do it. So I guess I had had the printer too long or whatever. I don't know, but I was unable to sign up for that program for the instant ink and sending it to me and all that stuff. Because yeah, I am aware of that, but for some reason, I guess it's a time frame on it because they didn't allow me to do it, and so yeah, they just may have lost a company, a customer. And Tisha, you said that's why you're going to purchase another laser printer, and you've had your laser printer for 25 years and have only changed the cartridge in it twice and still print. Really? Now I know that. Well, anyway. I have a laser printer in my storage, but that printer is old. I don't even know if you can still use it anymore. I don't know. I haven't even checked it out. But I'm familiar with laser printers, and I know the toner cartridges are not cheap at all. But I don't know exactly how long they would last because I never used mine up when I was using it. And it just doesn't print color. So looking into purchasing a laser color printer. It doesn't print color. Well, mine, the one that I have printed, prints color and black and white. But I bought that way. I like '08, '07, '08, '09, somewhere back then. So it's old. It's old. And it's been in storage for a long time. So I don't know. And you said you want the Brother Motor printer. It prints on paper and fabric. Well, I've seen that. The fabric is very expensive and it will only print on that particular fabric. And so I I'm not interested in that. I don't think it's worth, and I know the print is not that expensive. I think the print is like a couple $100, I think. But anyway, if you get it, let us know how it turns out for you. Because from what I heard, what I've read about it, it didn't impress me to get, and that was mainly because I was looking at it because of the fabric, and I realized how expensive the fabric was. So I didn't see the savings in the money, other than the fact you can personalize your fabric versus going to a fabric store. But that was the only thing that I saw. But anyway, my research that I did on needles, I'll cover needles first and then I'll get into threads because I have a little bit more info on threads. I didn't realize there were so many different brands of needles. I did know that there's a lot of different types of needles, but I didn't know how many brands of needles. It's a lot of brands of needles, and I did some research and I saw some things that I wasn't familiar with. But the one thing that I do want to point out before I even list off the brands are the types of needles. Now, um, I don't know how many people actually invest and or use different types of needles, for different types of projects and fabrics and what have you, but it is advised that we do this because every needle is not appropriate for every fabric or even every project. And you'll get your best outcome if you use the correct needle. And like your sharps and your ballpoints are your main needles that people use. And of course, the sharp penetrates uh, sharper in between the stitches, in between the fabric, the woven threads of a fabric. It penetrates with a sharp point. That's why it's called sharp point. And then the ballpoint, of course, is rounded, so it doesn't penetrate as sharply as of course the sharp does. You have anti-glue um, needles, and that supposedly helps if you happen to use um, adhesive, the spray adhesive, the temporary spray adhesive that we sometimes will use, because I know I do sometimes when we're uh, even doing appliques, or you're, for your stabilizer or what have you. There are occasions where you will use your temporary spray, and I use mostly 505, but there's several other out there that are pretty good that you can use, and I use it. But the anti-glue needle supposedly is coated where it doesn't allow that adhesive to stick, so you may not get the gumming of the needle like some of the other needles happen to do, and then have issues with it stitching properly. You have the Microtech, the titanium. Both of them are supposed to be harder needles and last longer. Metallic needles. Now, I use metallic needles when I use metallic thread, but I have to tell you, it was interesting. I noticed when since I've been doing this project, the Sew Along project, I've used a lot of metallic thread, and on one of my metallic thread color, I did not have a metallic needle, and on the other one, I did have a metallic needle. I didn't notice that much of a difference. I was using Kingstar, and I didn't notice that much of a difference between the way it was stitching. And then as time went on, one of my colors that I had been using, um, well, when I did my needle changes last week, like I told you guys about, when I did all of my needle changes, I decided to put metallic needles on both of the needle bars that were where my two metallic threads were, one and two. I had it on one and two. So I put metallic needles in one and two. And then the rest of them was my 7511s. My number one needle that I had been using, the 7511, all the time before I switched it out, started stitching worse with the metallic needle. That surprised me. I didn't understand that. That was really surprising to me. And I made mention of hearing knocking sounds, and couldn't figure out why that was happening. And it didn't make sense because I knew I was using a new metallic needle, and it kept shredding and breaking and what have you. So I went on and switched out the needle, but I didn't put another metallic in there. I went on and put a 7511 in there because it seemed to sew better with the 7511, and I put it in there, and lo and behold, it did. It sewed smoother with the 7511. So that I have no explanation for that. Now my number two needle, which I had my gold thread on, and I had been using the metallic needle all the time. And when I switched out all my needles, I put a metallic back on number two. There was no difference. It still sewed the same with the metallic needle. Two king stars, but two different colors. Don't know what happened. It's weird. But that just goes to say, as I was saying earlier, what sews on my machine well may not sew on your machine well, and it seems like what sews on one thread may not sew the same on another thread. It is really interesting, but you have to pay attention to your machine, and you need to pay attention to the sounds of your machine. I was thinking about that earlier today, and I wanted to remember to mention that if you get to know your machine well, it's almost like a musical instrument, the way I had the concept in my head, because you know that rhythm of your machine, the stitching of the machine has a rhythm to it. And you know when it's sewing well because it has that same rhythm. If it goes faster, it has the faster rhythm. If it goes slower, it has the slower. When it's changing needle, everything that happens has a unique sound that you get used to when you know your machine. And when it is not sewing properly, when there's an issue, that sound changes. There is a distinct sound that occurs when your machine is not stitching correctly. And those of you, or those of us that have been embroidering for a while, and even maybe on different machines, because I'm sure you have a different rhythm with each machine. You know this. If you pay attention to your machine, you know you can hear it immediately and know there's a problem. You don't have to wait until the problem occurs. You can hear that whatever that is, that sounds different. Because I know when I'm in this room and I'm busy doing something and the machine is stitching and I hear one little crazy, it's like, okay, what's going on? And I start looking because I know something's wrong. Either I don't know what it is. The bobbin isn't right. The top thread isn't right. The needle isn't right. Something's not right because the sound changes on you. So pay attention to your machine, and it will let you know when there is an issue with it. So I just wanted to remember to say that. And so back to the different types of needle. I also leather or vinyl needles, twin needles, universal needles, top stitch, and hem stitch. Now I have a couple of these containers that, and then here of course are my tools that I use, my little screwdriver, and then I also use these, trying to keep it from falling, these little forceps that has um, grips. I don't know if you can see the grips, but anyway, to grab the needle, and that's what I use to change my needles. But I have all kinds of needles in here. Now this is not my whole stash, but I have universal needles, and these are different sizes, 130, 705, and these are 9040s. These are 9014s rather. These are 7511s, but they're anti-glue. It's Madeira, but they're actually organs. I have tons of jean needles or denim, don't know why. Um, your top stitch, and what are these? Hem stitch. It's one needle in here. This is a wing needle. One of them's missing. Don't know why. Because I don't remember using it. Chrome, professional grade. What else is this? Of course, your metallic. And I even have brother needles. That must be what came with my machine, and I've never used it. Then, of course, I have my ballpoints. I have my leather, and I have my sharps. this is just some of the variety of needles that I have, and I use them whenever the situation occurs. And like I said, this is just one of my containers with my needles because I usually buy my needles. The organ needles is what I buy most often. I do buy Smiths as well, but I always usually get them by the 100 bundle of 100. So I went over the types of needles. Now, of course, I mentioned Smith's, Schmetz, organ, and then there's a glassy or classy, Classe. I've seen those needles. Peacemaker, had never heard of a peacemaker needle, but apparently that is a brand out there. Now, I showed you the titanium, the chrome. I saw a spring needle, double needle, had never seen that before. Went online and was looking at needles and stuff, and it's actually a needle that has a spring on it. And I think you use it mostly in a single needle machine, but you can use it when you without having to use a presser foot. I don't understand the concept, but I looked it up and that's what it said. And it is a spring needle. It's the strangest look. It's a needle with actually a spring to it. There's a brand called Tulips, Singer's needles, Phaff, Genome, Clover, and I think it's Gross Beckert or Gross Beckert, Groz as in zebra, Beckert. Now, I think they only make the commercial needles, the round ones, not the flat ones like you put in a home single needle or the brother 10 needles, because the other multi needle machine I had used that particular brand. That's what came with it, and it used the round needles, which I have to tell you, I hate those things because you have to make sure they're in correctly because it's a groove on the front and the back has a little indent. And if you don't get it in there correctly, your needle, your thread is going to break. People that have racomas might have that. And I think any of the industrial Melcos, racomas, red lines, any of those industrial or commercial machines, I think, use the round needle. So you guys that have those machines probably know what I'm talking about. You have to make sure when you are changing your needle, you have to change it correctly and put it in correctly because you have to have that groove because the thread goes down through the groove, and you have to have it turn correctly because if it's tilted slightly, you're going to have needle break and everything. And you best way to do that, they have a little magnet that you can buy that will it's kind of like a little gauge, like a compass. When it's not uh, uh, when it's not totally straight, the magnet turns in the direction in which the needle eye is, so you'll know that it's not straight. So you have to put it on there so you can make sure that you get that needle straight, and then you can thread it. So that's why I hate it because you always have to play with it and make sure you get it in there straight. Pain in the butt. Dritz, Dritz, which is actually, they actually have Smith's needles in their package. And what I could tell, they're mostly for hand embroidery, but they have a ton of them. And then, of course, brother needles, like I showed you, I had a brother needle. And I've not bought any brother needles from anywhere. Those brother needles, I obviously came with the machine because I didn't even know I had them until I started looking at my needle stash. And then millwort. I had not heard of millwort before. And there may be other needles out there, But the other thing to remember about needles are the sizes. They have different sizes, and the sizes of the needles are specific to the type of project, fabric, a thread, what have you. Most popular size, as we know, is 75/11. Then you have your 90/14. I think they have 110 and something. I don't remember what it is. Um, thought I had universals in here. 110/18. You have your 65/9, I believe it is. And then this wing one is 100/16. 100, yeah, 100/16. And then you have your 60 and your 70, but it didn't tell me what the other number was. 80/12s. You have 80/12s as well. They're jerseys. So there's so many different sizes of needles. And again, like I said, the sizes pertain to the type of fabric and the project and your thread. Very important. If you're going to use, and I'll tell you about that next because of the different types of threads that you're going to need that are out there available. Now, hopefully I can read my own writing. Because what I end up doing, having to write my notes because I couldn't print them. So my handwriting is horrible. It has always been bad, and it's even worse than what it used to be. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Let me see what some of you guys are saying. Um, Robin, you say you always use a 75/11 with metallic thread, or else the same thing happens to your thread. Okay, so the metallic needles don't work well with yours. And even when I'm sewing and I can hear when the bobbin thread is gone. Yeah. But your design stitched out okay on. I guess I missed part of that on there. And you say your long arm needles are like that. And good night. And I know that you had to leave. You have always leave early, so that's uh get some rest. Look at the replay. So now talking about the types of threads. Now the question came up again in that Facebook was the different kinds of threads and made me think back to when I first got my SE 1900 and not knowing anything about embroidery, never had used an embroidery machine ever, didn't know anything different than a regular sewing machine. And you bought thread, and you bought needles, and you sewed. If you didn't know all the ins and outs of embroidery thread and embroidery needles. So bought the machine. I believe I bought the machine off of Amazon. To be honest about it, now that I think about it, I think I bought the machine off of Amazon. But anyway, I bought, and I still have a big case of beautiful colors. Sim Thread, I believe is the brand. I believe it's Sim Thread. Um, Case 60 little cute little thread. Got it. Oh, these are so cute. The colors are beautiful. Colors are beautiful. I still have that box. I still have it, and it's still full, and I barely use it because my machine hated it. It hated that thread. it would break, it would break, it would break. And I did not know that it was the thread until I got some other thread. And, being on YouTube and Facebook and talking and listening and carrying on, I bought something different to see if it would make a difference, and it did. And bobbin, I bought a it wasn't even 100, probably was 25. I think a case of 25 bobbins, white bobbins, pre-wound white bobbins for my SE 1900. Still have those because the machine hated it. It would not. I'm telling you, that machine is so fickle. You talking about a bougie machine? It wanted brother bobbins, and to this day, I only put brother bobbins in there. I have black ones, I have white ones, but that's all I use. Now, I take that back. I did buy some pre-wound colored bobbins off of Amazon, and lo and behold, to my surprise, it works in that machine with no issues. No issue. And I can wound my own bobbins, and it works with no issues. But that case, I don't know what brand it was or whatever, it hated it. It hated it. So I just went on to buying Brothers. As far as the sim thread, I have used a few occasions the sim thread on my 10 needle machine, and it seemed to be fine without issues. Not to say I couldn't stitch on the SE 1900 with it, it's just that to me, the thread broke a lot more than what I was comfortable with. So you have to be careful about the thread. Your machine is not going to always like the thread that you use. So there are several types of thread, as we know, and I think I have listed 5 different types here. And that's polyester, which is the industry standard. And that's because of its strength, durability, and color fastness, and the ability to withstand chlorine bleach. Hadn't thought about that. It provides a sheen that makes your embroidery look professional. So polyester thread, which that's what 99% of the thread that I have is polyester. Rayon thread, number 2. It's also a common choice due to its incredible selection of colors and high sheen. And the sheen is even more high than the polyester. It is softer and more suitable for intricate work such as freestanding lace. And I know John Deere recommends rayon thread for um, freestanding lace. And I went to my sewing vat and found some rayon thread. And this is the size that they had. So I got red and white. I was going to do some freestanding lace. Didn't do it. But then I ended up looking on Madeira. And they had, I believe this is Madeira. I don't know if I got it from Madeira or got it from All Stitch. I think I may have gotten it from All Brand or All Stitch, but it's Madeira thread. So I got rayon thread, 40 weight, red, black, gold, and white in bigger spools. So I'm happy about that. So I'm glad to say I have some usable rayon thread. Um, Number 3, cotton thread. Cotton thread has a beautiful soft sheen and can be ordered either for sheen or matte finish. It performs well in most machines and comes in standard thickness as well as very fine varieties, and is suitable for um, incredibly intricate and delicate work. Now, I have seen cotton embroidery thread in Joann. I've never bought any. I've thought about it, but wasn't sure what type of project that I would be using cotton thread for. So I haven't ventured into buying any. And that cotton thread that I've seen at Joann seems to be thick. I've not seen, or have I? I may have seen some thin thread now that I think about it. I think Guterman, whatever that name is, has some. Number 4 is silk thread. Silk thread has high sheen and strength and is often used for luxury items and heirloom stitching. Now, I don't recall seeing silk thread in Joann or anywhere else. And because it is used for luxury items and heirloom stitching, I'm sure it's expensive and also probably used in um, design shops and places like that that make these high-end clothing and what have you. I don't know how common it is to get silk thread. And then the last one is metallic thread. And I'm sure all of us know about metallic thread, and it adds a special touch to embroidery projects. It is perfect for creating a shiny, reflective look. And it is one of my favorite decorative threads to use because of its sheen and how it shines. Now, there are so many different types of threads, as we know, and there's so many different types of metallic thread. I have several. My favorite to date, of course, as I've mentioned before, is King Star, and that is because it does not tend to break and shred as much as other thread. Now, I have these 2 cones of threads, and these are Madeira. These were not the first metallic threads that I bought, but I thought that I was doing a good thing by getting Madeira thread because they would be better because they're Madeira. I don't like them. I don't like the silver because to me it is too dull. It's too dark for silver for me. And the gold, I mean, the color I like, it's just that it breaks. To me, it's not, it breaks. Now, this is King Star. This is just one of them that I have. I was going through my threads when I was getting all my projects and stuff together, and I was surprised to find out I have 8 different colors. 8 are somewhere between 8 and 10 different colors of King Star metallic thread. Surprised me, but I got them when they were on sale, so I did save a little money. Now these are very shiny and bright, which I love. These are Floriani's. And as you can tell, I've obviously used them, but they break. They do break. And this is Floriani. And I love Floriani thread. But these threads, they're very pretty, but they do break. They'll drive you to drink. And these, I think, are coats. It doesn't say so. I know I have some coats. I don't know. I bought a bunch of metallic thread off of Amazon. And this might be one of them. I mean, I bought a boatload. I know I have at least 10 of these in different colors. And you can see I haven't even taken the plastic off of it because the 1 or 2 that I did, again, breakage, uh, I do put it on that thread stand that is tall and goes up, and then I thread it into my single needle machine, and it seems to work relatively well that way. But since I haven't been using my single needle machine that often, I have not used that thread, and you can see back behind me, I have all of that on the bottom row. Well, not all of it, but quite a bit of the thread on the bottom row, the very bottom row. I would say half of that is metallic thread like this. Um, Now, This is sulky poly light thread. Hadn't gotten to talk about that when we were talking about thread. This is a 60 weight thread, but it's a top thread. It's not a bobbin. Bobbin threads are usually 60 weights as well, and the majority of top threads are 40 weight. This is a 60 weight um, rayon, not rayon, polyester. Yeah, it is polyester. That's why it's called poly light, but it is 60 weight. And this is good when you're doing intricate work or small lettering or whatever, where you use your 65/9 needle. Think of 65/9 or 65/9 needle. When you're using poly light, you need to use that small needle, and your lettering and everything will come out so much better, so much better. Um, didn't mention this, but this is glow in the dark thread. Now these are fun, glow in the dark, and I have about 4 or 5 different colors of glow in the dark, and it does work, and it's really a lot of fun. The thing about glow in the dark, I don't think it comes in orange, and you would think it would come in orange for Halloween, but it usually comes in more of a pastel color because I have the green and the yellow and the white and this pink. You can get more colors, blue and what have you, but they're all kind of pastel color. And of course, variegated. Variegated thread makes beautiful designs. And this is sulky. I have some variegated threads that I got from Amazon as well. Don't know if it's sim thread, bro thread, or what, but I got that and it works. Okay. Um, the most common brands of threads that I am aware of course, Madeira, Floriani, Issachar, Sim Thread, Metro, Robin Aston, Hemmingworth, Marathon, Sulky, Exquisite, which is dime, Glide, Guterman, King Star, and Candle. Um, Hemmingworth. I was on researching and I saw Hemmingworth thread, and I had seen this before but forgotten about it. Their thread comes packaged with a dome on it, and it's only $5.95 a spool, I think it was. But you keep the dome on to keep your thread clean, dry. You don't have the threads raveling all around like like this, all of this string hanging that just gets on my nerves. And I said, I'm gonna get me a spool or two of those to try it out. I might be having to switch. I don't know because I like that. Now I don't know how that's gonna fit on my rack, but that with the dome on it, and it keeps it clean and dry and dust free, and you don't have the strings raveling and stuff. That to me is very interesting. Very interesting. Now, Robin, you said cotton thread is good for quilting. Yes, I saw that, and I don't know what else you would use it for, but yeah. Um, and it also mentioned about hand stitching with cotton thread. I think I saw that in my notes somewhere. I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, when I get to thread weights. Um, but yeah, that hemming words might be something that you guys might want to check out. And teach Taisha, you say you've embroidered with cotton thread on potholders. Okay. And hi, Lori. How are you from Indiana? You're not late for the party. We're here, still cranking it out here, just talking about threads and needles. And so the next thing I want to talk about is thread weights. And the reason I thought about that is because I have different thread weights as well. And the most common thread weight, of course, is 40 weight. Most of our thread is 40 weight. It's the most versatile and works well for a wide range of projects, and most designs are digitized for 40 weight thread. And it is the go-to thread that we all buy. I would venture to say, matter of fact, I know all of my thread, except for the ones that I know that are specialty thread, are 40 weight threads. Uh, 60 weight is a finer and lighter thread, and it's ideal for projects that require fine details, as I mentioned about the poly light, and our small lettering, and for decorative stitches um, on delicate items or delicate fabrics, and also for bobbin thread. So that's 60 weight. If I'm not mistaken, all bobbin thread is 60 weight. Now, what is thread weight? Thread weight is a measurement of the thickness of the thread. The weight should correspond to the material being sewn. The heavier the material, the thicker the thread should be. So that ventures to say, if you're doing organza or any type of chiffon, any thin, even maybe silk and satin, any of your finer materials, you may come out better using a 60 weight thread and a 60/9 needle with that. Your regular material on up to denim, you can use your 40 weight thread or a heavier weight. It says when you look at a thread weight number, it might appear like 50/2 or 40/3. Now, I have not seen those numbers like that, but apparently that's, I guess being able to read your thing here. I'm looking at the poly light to see if it comes that way. And I don't see that. I don't see that on any of this thread that I have in front of me. So I don't know how that, if that's really how it is now. Because this rayon that I have in my hand, that is my variegated thread, is a 40 weight, and it says 40 weight on here. Not all thread will tell you what weight it is. Um, so I was checking. I said, what is the smallest thread weight? And the smallest thread weight is 8 weight. 8, the number 8 weight. And the thread weight can range between 8 to 40 pounds. Most common is 40 to 60 weight. Now, the 12 weight thread is the heaviest weight thread and is perfect for a variety of uses. And I listed a few of them. And the reason I brought up 12 weight is because I have some 12 weight thread. Now, I got this thread from Madeira, and they call it, what do they call it? Their Burmilana, 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 I think it's how it's pronounced. I got this thread from Madeira a while back for a particular project. And I don't know if any of you all have seen or have experienced yourself doing a project where when you stitch it together or stitch your project out, there is a stiff brush that you can get. And after you sew everything out, then you take the brush. It's like a metal, they have metal teeth, and you brush the thread, and it looks like fur. That's the whole concept. It looks like fur. Now, I bought this to do a project, and I did one project. I did a Santa Claus and his white beard, and I don't know where it is. I can't find it. I still have it. So if I ever come across it, I'll show it to you guys. But his white beard, I did with the 12-weight thread from Madeira, and I brushed it. Now, it didn't fluff up as much as I had hoped it would, but it did fluff up. I got that several threads because it was several different colors in this project that I'm going to do. It's actually a face of a lion. And I'm going to do this face and use the brush and fluff it up. And it's supposed to look like the lion's fur. So we'll see if that works. But that's the purpose of getting this thread. And I was wondering, where can you buy this thread? And Madeira, of course, obviously is where I got mine, directly from Madeira. They're not the only ones that can buy it. I've seen it elsewhere, cannot put my hand on it or my mind to it where I saw it recently online. But the AI said you can get it from Joanne, you can get it from Thread Art, and you can get it from Shop Wonderfield. But I also put Madeira on here because I did get it from Madeira. And it's 12-weight thread. And it's the thickest thread, apparently, that's out there available. And you do have to use, I believe, 100/14 needle when you're using that particular thread. But it's a technique. It is a different design. It's a different style, but it's something that you might want to try. And I know my design, both of the design, the Santa Claus and the lion, I got from embroidery library. So if you're interested in anything like that. Um, okay, Taisha, you say you have Hemingway thread and it fits on the thread rack really well. Oh, great. That's good to know. And no, they have 90 weight bobbin thread. I did not know that. Okay. The 90 weight bobbin thread is good for freestanding lace. Good to know. Did not know that. I just thought 60. But anyway, good to know. I don't know where to get 90 weight thread from because I didn't know it existed. But good. It's good to know that. So there is a 90 weight bobbin thread and it's good for freestanding lace. So you guys check it out. And Laura, how do you use different weight threads when machine takes pre-wound magnetic bobbin? I did not change my bobbin. That I didn't. And I didn't read anywhere where you were supposed to change your bobbin. It was not indicated in the instructions that I had that I needed to change my bobbin. So I used the same bobbin that my 60 weight bobbin, but I used a different thread on top. So I guess it wouldn't be any different than using metallic thread. You know, some people have used metallic thread in their bobbin because they're doing freestanding lace in metallic, so they want both of them to be the same. And I understand that that works perfectly fine. I don't know if that would work well with a thicker bobbin thread, a thicker thread in your bobbin. So I that's the best answer I can give you on that one, but that's a good question. But for me personally, I did not use a thicker thread bobbin. I used the regular 60 weight magnetic. um, pre-wound bobbin like I normally use. And hi, Mary, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. So I will do some research on that, and if you find the answer, come back and let us know because I don't know uh, if they're if it is recommended or plausible, but it's good to know. So some of the things that you can do, or some of the things that people do with the 12 weight thread that I just showed you, they speak mostly about hand applique, hand embroidery, hand quilting, stitching, embellishment, mention machine embroidery, machine art quilting, red work, which that surprised me. I hadn't heard red work and thick thread, lower loop serger, wasn't aware of that, long arm quilting, which makes sense since you can use cotton and different thicker threads with your long arm. Bold machine quilting, don't know what that is. Um, big stitch hand quilting, thread painting, which is creating designs that look like a painting with thread, and of course, different decorative stitching. And then they also recommend it for hemming jeans. I thought that was interesting because it specifically says hemming jeans. So, with um, 12 weight thread. And Shahiko, Sashiko. I've seen this word before, did not know what it meant. S is in Sam, Ashiko. If I'm not mistaken, I've also seen a machine, embroidery machine in my sewing bag that does that. But anyway, that is geometric patterns, which is Japanese base, and it includes straight and curved stitching um, arranged in repeating patterns. And you can buy kits and what have you that does that particular type of stitching. Not familiar with the stitching itself, but I have seen the name before. And hi, Carol. How you doing? Thanks for stopping in. And you said metallic thread scares you and you need to get the courage up to try. Oh, please do. Yeah, Taisha said no need to let it scare you. Just add it to your machine and stitch whatever you want, which is true. It can't bite. It won't bite. It's not going to, if your machine does not like that particular thread, try another. But it's not going to do anything to your machine. Pick a simple pattern and stitch it out and see how it goes. The thing that you need to be, what you need to do, which is recommended, is to set your machine at its slowest speed. Usually that's 400. Um, if you're using a single needle machine, I recommend that you use the thread stand and put the thread on the stand and bring it up through the loop and then thread your machine as usual and stitch that way because it gives the thread enough room to glide and not coil up because metallic thread is just as it says, it's metal with thread wrapped around it, and it just depends upon how it's made, whether or not it kinks up. Some kinks more than others, and that's what causes an issue with metallic thread. If there's going to be one, is if the thread kinks up and it'll break sometime. If it gets too hot, it'll snap and break. And a lot of people get frustrated with it because if depending upon the type of thread that you're using, it breaks a lot. But what I have found, even with thread that I bought from Amazon, when I use it on my single needle machine and I put it on the thread stand and I thread it that way and bring it on down and slow my machine down, it stitches pretty good. It stitches pretty good. Now, what we noticed at the sew along, um, with using King Star, at least I did with using King Star thread, because at one point I was having an issue with the metallic thread the vibration where it would tangle up with the other threads because it's a 10 needle machine. I got 10 threads up there and it would tangle up with the other threads and that was irritating me. But if you put the thread on the end, I had my metallic thread on needle 1 and 2. So it was right there with 1 and 2. And every time I stitch, that's where it is, 1 and 2. I had no tangling of my metallic thread. No tangling. It did not tangle up with any other thread on my machine. And boy, was I happy. And to be honest about it, it stitched very, very well. I had very little trouble with my metallic thread stitching all of the stuff, and just about every panel, all 45 of them, has some type of metallic thread on it. So I used it quite a bit and I had no trouble. And Kara, you say you have both a single needle and a 1040, and so do I. And I've used my metallic thread on both. Now, I don't know if I've used my King Star on my single needle, but I know I've used my King Star on my 10 needle, and I've used other metallic thread on my single needle. So I've used metallic threads on both machines and will continue to do so because I love the look of metallic thread. I think it really adds something special to a project. Now, again, like I said, you have to be careful to take precautions or I don't want to say precaution, but if you use those guidelines, then usually you won't have a lot of problems with your thread. Now, I know that I like King Star, but I'm not going to say go out and buy King Star because King Star is not cheap. I don't think metallic thread is cheap, period. But I don't think King Star is cheap. But you do have to be aware of the less you spend, the more problems you may have with your thread, and you may not. But give it a try. Don't even try if you don't have any thread, any metallic thread. I'm not saying go out and spend $15 to $20 for a spool of metallic thread because that's what they run. Anywhere from, I think the cheapest I've seen is 15 to 20 for one spool of metallic thread, unless you get lucky and get it on sale. Like I said, I had eight or 9 or 10 spools, but I bought mine on sale, uh, 3 or 4 spools at a time, and accumulating. Since I don't use them every day all the time, I still have them and I'm still using them. And some of them I haven't even used at all, but I have them different colors and what have you. But I did buy threads. What is that? Coats and whatever. I can't remember the other name that goes with coats. They have metallic thread in Joanne, and let me see, Coats and Clark. I couldn't think of Coats and Clark to say my name. Coats and Clark. This is a Coats and Clark metallic thread. I don't know why I keep grabbing gold like that's all I got. It's not, but it's 80% nylon core, 40% coated polyester, and it is metallic. It's Coats and Clark. I don't know how much I paid for this. I'm pretty sure I got it out of Joanne. So I know it wasn't like cheap, cheap, but it wasn't $20. I probably paid 10 or 12, maybe. And knowing me, I got it on sale. But you could try that. Or this one, I'm almost 100% positive I got off of Amazon. It doesn't say what the brand is. So I can't tell you that, but I got it off of Amazon. So you might could try that. Or go ahead and get one good spool of thread and try it out. Taisha, also a thread net is helpful when using metallic thread. Yeah. So give it a try, Carol. Don't. That's the one thing that if I don't do anything else with my channel or my live stream, I want to be able to encourage people to not be afraid to try something. Because for one thing, as long as you're using your machine properly, you're not going to break the machine. And if you're not spending the arm and a leg on a piece of material or something, you're not really wasting a lot of money if you mess something up. If that's how you learn. That's the only way. I probably can't even count the stuff I've messed up and continue to mess up. But I'm not going to ever learn how to do something if I don't try it. And neither will you. You got to try it. You got to get out here and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I want to do. And I'm going to go ahead and try it. Today, I don't know if you can see, turn it a little bit, where you see on air. You see next to my SC 1900, I have my Celebrate surgery machine. I was messing with that today. I don't know how to do surging well. So I was trying to figure out how to do some things on my surgery because I'm determined to become more proficient in surgeon and do some stuff. And some of the projects that I want to do requires me to use a surgeon. That's why I got it. So did it frustrate me a little bit? Yeah. Because I like to go in and zoom, bam, I got it. But it doesn't work like that all the time. You got to crawl before you walk often. And I was crawling today. And Taisha, I'm gonna have to get in touch with you because I need to ask you some questions about something that I was trying to do on my surgery today. I was doing it, but it wasn't doing it as well as I wanted it to go. So I need a little help with that. But again, you're not going to learn how to do anything unless you actually try it. So please don't be afraid to use some metallic thread. Get you some metallic thread, get you a simple design and something inexpensive piece of material or whatever inexpensive and go ahead and let it rip and you will be so surprised at how well it goes. You don't have to do the whole project in metallic. Just put a sprinkle of it here, a sprinkle of it there, and see how it works for you, and see if you like it, and go from there. And you'd be surprised and realize that you had this fear. I told you guys I did the same thing about applique. I was I won't say fearful of appliques. I avoided it because I didn't understand it. And the reason I didn't understand it because that one particular design I had bought did not have any instructions and I didn't understand how to do the applique. And so it frustrated me and I just didn't do appliques. And I was saying, look, I want to do appliques, so I need to learn how to do them. So I did what it took to learn, and now that I know, it no longer frustrates me. So I just made up my mind that this is something that I want to learn how to do. And I just jump in with both feet usually. I try to usually figure things out by myself. I'll go to a YouTube channel. I'll go to Google, whatever. If I have a book that has anything in it, I'll do all of those kinds of stuff first. And then if all else fail, I'll go ask somebody. But I usually try to figure everything out today. Because like even today, which is so funny, I I was trying to do this technique on my surgery. And I couldn't get the settings. That was the issue. I needed to figure out the settings, and I kept fooling around with it, and it wasn't quite set the way I wanted it to be set. And I'm going by memory. And I was talking to my girlfriend Andrea, and she had said, "Well, where's your manual? Do you have your manual?" I said, "Yeah, but why do people want you to read? I don't want to read. They don't have a video. I don't want to read it. I want to see it." And I mean, that's how I prefer. I prefer. That's why people like me exist. We want to get out here and show you how to do something because you all want to see it. I'm the same way. I want you to show me how to do it. I don't want to read it. I want you to show me how to do it, and then I'll go do it. But that's just, I guess that's just how it is nowadays. But yeah, I did not want to. I was determined to find an answer on YouTube, and I think I did. I just didn't get around to looking at the video because it was getting closer to time to come on with you guys. But it was like I don't want to go digging through here and read and figure out what they're trying to tell me when I can hear somebody and see somebody tell me and see the results, and then I say, okay, let me try that. Okay, do this, do this. Oh, do this. Okay, I got it. Now I got it. That's how I learn. That's how I learn. And that's how you learn. So keep watching me. Keep watching my video and you will learn. As I learn, you'll learn. That's why it says so to we begin embroidery. That's what the whole concept is. That's what it all means is that we're learning all this stuff together. And as I learn, I share. As you learn, please share with me because that's how we all learn around here. That's just how it goes. So that's pretty much what I needed to say about needles and threads. And the bottom line, as I was saying at the very beginning, just because some thread works on my machine doesn't mean it'll work well on yours. And you have to kind of do a trial and error situation, figure out what works best. And it is recommended. Now, I was not around the recommendation pool when they handed this little tidbit out. Because when I got, as I told you, I bought this case of thread. It didn't work. So when I got my 10 needle machine, I went and bought a bigger case of thread. Now, what if it didn't work? I'd have been all messed up. But thank goodness it worked. They recommend that you get one or two spools of a thread brand that you're interested in trying and try it on your machine to see if it's going to work before you invest in a large quantity because as we all know, thread is not cheap. So that is my recommendation. Anytime that you're considering switching up threads or a new thread of whatever, get one or two spools and check it out first to see if your machine is going to like that thread. Because believe it or not, machines like and dislike different threads, different brands, different bobbins brand. That it's fickle like that. And you need to know what works best in your machine. Just because I like King Star doesn't mean you'll like King Star. Just because I like Floriani thread doesn't mean you're gonna like Floriani thread. A lot of people like Madeira thread, and they um, Robinson Anston and Icicle, all of those different brands of threads, I'm sure are very good threads. It just depends upon what works well and what works best in your machine. I've never tried candle embroidery machine thread, but I hear that it's a pretty decent thread. I haven't tried it, so I can't recommend it. But who knows? It might be a wonderful thread. I'm going to try that Hemingworth though because I like the fact that it has the little casing, and I'm gonna see how that works for me. I know I said I was switching over to Floriani, but I'm gonna try the Hemingworth and just see. If I like it well enough, I might just start investing in that thread. I don't know. I don't know. Color wise and what have you, depends upon what's out there available. You do want, that's the other thing, you want to select a brand that has a large variety of colors. That's also very important. Make sure that whatever you settle on has a large enough variety of colors that is going to be beneficial to what type of embroidery you do. You know, some people may not use a lot of colors. They may be focused on certain designs and certain things that they do, if it's a business or what have you, and you're not, you know, branching out on a lot of different colors and stuff, so it's not that important. But someone like me that loves multiple colored designs, I mean, my designs that I tend to gravitate towards have 20 plus colors in them. And that's not hard to do, to have that many. But you don't always have that many color options. And with the 10 needle machine, sometimes it's not that wise to have a design with 20 colors, but I do it anyway because if I like it well enough, I'll make it work. I'll make it work. And because I want it to turn out to be beautiful. I do find myself looking at designs now to see how many colors are in it more often than I used to. Um, because of that, because I try to stick within the 15, 16 color range because it's easier to switch them out versus a whole array of 20 colors because that means you have to do the whole thing and it's a process in that's involved in that. It can be done and I have a video on how to do it, but I try not to go that far out as much. But yeah, that's kind of how it goes. And Kara, you say you're very pleased when your 1055 like the Issachar you already had from your Bernina. Okay, good. That's great. That's great. It's good that it likes what you already had. It is. 'Cause having to switch up and have two brands and what have you can be very costly. But what I have found that sometimes switching your brands aren't that hard because I started off with Metro EMB and quite a bit of my thread still is Metro EMB because when I bought the thread, I bought the whole thing. They had this wonderful sale on where you could get every color that they made for 100 less than $140. And I said, bam, bought the whole doggone thing. Had no clue that thread was going to work. It was a recommendation that this was a good thread. So I jumped in with both feet. That was not wise. Do not do that. I did it. It worked out for me, but that was not wise. That would have been $140 wasted if it did not work. But thank goodness it worked. But I now am kind of moving into the Floriani. I discovered Floriani and I was like, oh, I like Floriani. I like that color. I like what the colors that they have available. So I've been kind of moving towards Floriani and not buying, replacing with Metro. I will get a similar color in Floriani. I do have some sulky, not a lot. I usually get that from Joanne if I happen to go in there, and I don't buy. I haven't bought any from them in a while because they don't have a large variety of colors. The colors that they have already have. But I do have a few spools of those, and I have a few spools of Madeira. Um, I don't buy a lot of Madeira thread. Not that I don't like Madeira thread. I just don't buy them. I don't know why. When I first started buying Madeira, I know what happened. I was buying directly from Madeira because I didn't know you could buy elsewhere. And I did not like the shipping situation. So I decided not to buy Madeira thread. I would buy other thread. But now that I know that you can get Madeira thread in so many other places, you don't have to go through them, then it would have made sense for me to use Madeira thread because so many designs, so many digitizers use Madeira thread. And so if you're following their thread chart and you have Madeira thread, then you can be on point. But I have not made a decision to switch over to Madeira thread. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't even know how much Madeira thread costs per spool because I don't routinely buy it. I do buy it, but not routinely. So I don't really have that number in my head. I don't think it's too terribly expensive. And I do know that I believe All Stitch and All Brand, but I think for sure All Stitch sells Madeira. And so it wouldn't be difficult to get. I've not tried Exquisite, which is a dime thread, and King Star also is a dime thread. Now I do King Star, but not Exquisite, and I don't buy my King Star from Dime because it's less expensive buying it elsewhere. And I do recommend that you shop around because just recently I bought some King Star and it was selling for various prices at various places and was able to find it for $14.95, I believe, something along that line, which was the least expensive price. They were usually $17 and $18 a spool. And when I got my stash, I think I was paying like 12 something a spool for mine. That's why I ended up buying so much at the time. But again, like I said, I think I got it when it was on sale. And it wasn't from Dime. It was from one of them, All Stitch, All Brand, I believe it was. But that's been a minute. It's been not something recently. And Robin, you say you like Exquisite, but it's not your main brand. Yeah. I haven't tried Exquisite. It looks nice online. I just have not bought any. Never really had the desire to try it. Probably won't, because like I said, I'm focused now on that Hemmingsworth. I want to check that one out and just see what that's all about because I do like that covering. I like that covering a lot. That seems like an answer to an all around problem, and especially if it fits on the thread rack. Yeah, that would be a game changer because you can keep your thread rack and you can keep your thread clean. And you don't have to worry about the tangling of the thread and it hanging down and putting those little rubber things on that I don't like and all of that kind of stuff. Mentioning rubber things for your thread. I saw on Facebook in one of those groups that I frequent, and they were asking the question about how do you keep your thread from unraveling and hanging down and putting the rubber thing on and it never fits right, and then they got the little thing at the bottom that you're supposed to be winding around that never works and all of that kind of stuff. And someone mentioned removable adhesive tape that is specifically, well, I won't say specifically, but it is recommended to use on embroidery thread that you can wrap around it and it holds it together and keeps it from hanging down and you can just take it off. And it's on Amazon. And I have it in my cart on Amazon. And let me check and see what it is called. Mm, 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 mm. Let me see if this is it. It is called Amazing Wrap Non-Adhesive. That's what it is. It is. The brand name is Amazing Wrap. WRAP. Amazing Wrap. It's a 3-pack. It's Amazing Wrap non-adhesive vinyl tape, self-clinging, multi-purpose, reusable wrapping tape for sewing, crafts, emergency, plumbing, outdoor, workshop, office, what have you. You get 3 rows of 50 feet, 1 inch rolls. And on Amazon, it is 14.99. And this person says that it works wonders. Um, and she uses it to put on her thread. So I'm gonna try it. I have, like I said, I have it in my cart. I am going to try it. It's clear. I don't know if you guys can see what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Amazing. 14.99. And yep, that's it. That's the lowest price in 30 days, they say. And it is clear and reusable, which is always good. Wrap yarn and sewing supply. They even show a picture of it wrapped around thread. So it is recommended that you can use for your thread. So I am going to check that out. If anybody else is interested in it, it is on Amazon. It is called Amazing Wrap. Um, Taisha, you said Madeira white is $7.99, the black is $9.59, and all the other colors are $9.59. This is from All Stitch because that's where you order yours and they ship quickly. I didn't know they were that much. I don't know why I thought they were less. Okay, but that's good to know. So if anybody's interested, that is Madeira thread at All Stitch. Uh, And maybe I saw the white and thought that all the thread was $7.99 because for some reason I was thinking it was more on that line of pricing. So that's kind of expensive. I don't know what size that is though. Is that the big cone or is that the small cone? And Carol, you said, do you mix and match different brands on one product? Uh-huh. Yeah, I do. I do. I just be honest about it. And Carol, you say you do too. Yeah, I grab whatever color I need, regardless of what the brand is. Because I have my Metro, I have all my thread up here together, all of it. I don't have it separated by brand, I have it separated by color. And whatever color I need, regardless of what brand it is, that's what I use. I don't separate it by brand. And Taisha, you said they used to be less, but they went up. And you said that's the large cone. Okay. Now that makes sense. I don't normally buy large cones, so that's probably I probably was looking at the price for a small cone because I normally stick in this size cone. I don't normally buy the big cones stuff because I don't embroidery I don't embroider that much of all now the colors that I use a lot, like white, black, red. I have big cones for white, black, red, blue, green, and that was because of Christmas, and I bought them. I bought a bunch of it last year for Christmas, so I still have black, white. Well, my black and white, I only have one of those, but I still have multiple reds, multiple blues, multiple greens, and that's pretty much the only colors I have in the big cones. And like I said, I did that because of Christmas, because I do a lot more embroidering during the Christmas holidays, making, you know, doing stockings, doing pillows, doing towels, doing blankets, doing whatever stuff, just stuff, because I'm a Christmas person. So I will make a lot of stuff. for Christmas. That's just kind of how it goes. I don't really celebrate any other holidays in a big way. As far as, like making designs and decorations and stuff like that, I don't. Um, I did Thanksgiving one year, and I've been using the same Thanksgiving apron and Thanksgiving towels ever since. I haven't done another set of stuff, but I'll do a new set of Christmas stuff almost every year. It's like, okay, it's Christmas, put some more stuff out. It's Christmas, get some more designs. It's Christmas, make some more pillows. Because I'm already spinning in my head about Christmas pillows. And I know one thing with this project, this so long thing that we're doing, it has kind of hindered me in doing other things because it's like, huh, I don't have time to mess around and make some of the stuff that I normally do for Christmas with this so long Christmas skirt. So, I don't know. I have several, I'm not even going to say two or three, I have several Christmas projects that I was hoping to get done for Christmas. And it's already November the 7th, and we're not done with the sew along and won't be done for a few more weeks. So I don't know what's going to get done for Christmas because I don't want to do it for Christmas Day. I like to do it and have it up and there to look at. I don't want to put it up Christmas Day and then you looking at it through New Year's. You didn't get no viewing for Christmas coming up to Christmas like what I'm used to doing. So I don't know. Next year, if we decide to do a sew along for Christmas next year, we're gonna have to do it earlier. We did start in October though. We thought we were starting early. We started in October. We might need to start in July. Christmas in July and knock this out the way. Especially if we come up with something that is as time consuming and tedious. And with that being said, I don't know. It's some of the people that I know do the Christmas thing is not on here. So I don't know where everybody is and all of that. I know for me, to be honest about it, I'm trying to get done. So Robin, you said maybe we should start in July. We should, seriously, because it's Christmas in July. If we come up with a big project to do next year, let's plan to do that in July. And Taisha, you said, I think the Christmas so long is going pretty fast. I do too. It really is. Because I was getting ready to say, I don't know where everybody else is, but I'm going to just be honest about it. I'm ready to cut now. I'm done with my embroidery. Yay. When we get together tomorrow night, I'm gonna have scissors in my hand, honey. I am so glad I knocked out those doggone appliques when I knocked those appliques out because the outer row, the presents, and the snowmen, they went like that. I surprised myself they went so fast. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm done. I knocked them out in a day and a half. I'll be honest about it. Um, yeah, yeah. I think I had done two of them on Wednesday at the so long. And by Friday morning, Friday afternoon, I was completely done with those. And they wasn't like so, because they were only like 19 minutes apiece. They were no time, no time, no time. So that was, yeah. That's great you're done with embroidery. Yes, it is. So all I gotta do is cut. Once I get everything cut out, then I'll be sewing. So it's gonna move along. It's gonna move along. I think once that embroidery is done, The rest of it is going to move along pretty quickly, I think. And, we'll probably get done with it on time, if not before time. And Robin, you said, good for you. I have 30 blocks done. I spent a few hours at my cardiologist today, so no someone. And I hope everything went well. You told me you had to switch up your cardiologist. So I hope that get together was pleasant. But I don't know where you are. If you're ready to do your outer, then that's not going to take you any time, Robin. If you're ready to do your outer panels, like I said, there's like 19 minutes for each one of them. You're gonna tomorrow night. You're gonna knock out so many of them. It'll go so fast. It will go so fast because they're easy to do. And even with me, and I'd be honest, but I didn't use the same color on all my snowmen, and I didn't use the same color on all my gifts. But I had it set up where I didn't have to keep putting things in and all that. So um, with the 10 needle machine, obviously that made it beneficial. And so I was just on and off, on and off, on and off, on and off. And it went by quicker than I had thought it would be. And so that's good. I knocked that out fast. And I did cut a little bit. And I have to say, I had mentioned how nervous I was about the cutting part. And I'm the type of person, I like to do the worst, the hardest. I won't say the worst, the hardest stuff and get it out the way. So I started cutting the outer panels, the round ones. They're small, but they're curved. You can't use the ruler and stuff. So I just did and I thought about doing the template, and actually I made a template, but that was a hot mess, so that didn't work. I just cut the way I thought it should be cut, and that turned out to be okay. So I am less afraid of the cutting now. So that part is good. So I don't think that's going to take me as much time as I had anticipated it was going to take. I thought it was going to take a year and 2 months to do, but I don't think so. So I'm moving right along. And Taisha, you say you haven't been sewing that much because your right hand is still painful, but you're progressing. You have 7 appliques left to make. You'll knock them out. You'll knock them out. And that's over half because it's 15 of them. So you've done 8. So you got 7 more to go. So you're right there. And yeah, sorry about your hand as well. I hope it all gets better soon. Cause and I don't know how you're gonna manage the cutting though. Are you right-handed or left-handed, Taisha? I think you're left-handed. I'm not sure. Because if you're right-handed, that's really gonna be an issue trying to do cutting and having a painful hand. That would not be pleasant. Oh, so you've been doing one a day. Yeah. Well, you got no need of rushing. No need of rushing. Cause it'll get done when it gets done. That's just how it is. Oh, you're right-handed. Oh, that's too bad. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that. Well, I hope it gets better soon. Hope it gets better soon because that has to be hard. It's cutting with scissors is difficult anyway, and I don't know if you're going to be cutting with scissors or rotary cutter, but either way, using a painful hand is not pleasant at all. And if I'm left-handed, if I was to have an issue with my left hand, I would be out for the count because I can't do anything with my right. I can't do anything with my right hand. It's sad to say. It's sad. It's just sad to say. I don't. It's an appendage. That's what I tell people. I say it's an appendage. It's just here. I don't do anything with my right hand. I'm I'm left-handed. Everything is left-handed. Everything I do is left-handed. So that that would be difficult. So hopefully it gets better soon. I pray that it does, and hopefully you'll feel well enough to join us tomorrow night. So I'm hoping that everybody will be there. I know I haven't heard from Karen. That bothers me. I did hear back from Linda and Marina. You're back, but I haven't heard anything from Karen. So I don't know what's going on or if she's going to be with us or what. But anyway, hopefully everybody that can will tune in tomorrow, and we'll have a good night. And you all that still have to embroider will embroider, and I'll be cutting. I'll be cutting. Hey, 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 hey. I don't even have to turn my machine on. Yeah. I'm going to try to use my ruler, but if that doesn't work, I'm just going to freehand it. I'm not going to worry about it because that's on the back side, and as long as I got enough to get it all stitched up and everything and make it look decent, I'm going to be happy, and I'm not going to worry about it. That is how my mind is made up because I'm moving right along. I have things to do. I have things to do. Like I said, I got some projects that I really, really, really want. There's some projects I want to do, and there's some projects that I really need to do. So, and the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. Christmas will be here before you know it. It will be here. It's right around the corner. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if there are any of you all out there looking and watching and listening, it is almost 10 o'clock. And I think we have talked about a lot of stuff. Oh, I need some thumbs up, y'all, before we go. Looks like I only have one. And I always tend to forget to ask people to do thumbs up. That just doesn't really cross my mind like it should. Um, Thumbs up and subscribe. Anybody out there that has not subscribed. But please, 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 please give me a thumbs up. That is so beneficial to the channel. It definitely uh, helps the channel. And if you don't mind, thumbs up, please. Those of you that are in the chat and those of you that are out there watching, please, if you don't mind, give me a thumbs up. And when you watch the replay and all of that, thumbs up as well. You're pretty good at it. People tend to watch the replay. The numbers really do go up for the replay. But I also need you to not only watch it, but the thumbs up and the subscribing is something that is very beneficial to the channel. And I do appreciate it if you do that because it helps uh, it helps me to stay viable. And that's the whole purpose because my live stream is affiliated with my channel. We work in conjunction with each other as far as um, uh, the being pushed out to everybody, the analyticals, as they call it. You got to have the analyticals on your side, and they only get on your side if you get subscriptions, likes, which are thumbs up, sharing. All of those things are beneficial to the channel. So if you don't mind, please do that. And Robin, you say you always hit it on the way in. And I do appreciate it. I try to remember when I go to other people's channel to do the exact same thing. Because I have to be honest about it. Before I knew anything about the YouTube channel and stuff like that, I didn't understand why people would always ask you to subscribe and hit the like button and share and all that stuff. I didn't know what that meant, didn't understand it, so I didn't do it. But now that I am on the other side of the fence, I know exactly what it means, so I try to also do that for other people. So for those of you that aren't affiliated with a channel, that you don't understand and don't know what it means, it helps the channel to survive. It helps the channel to grow. And that's the reason why we're here, to grow and to be able to present to you content that you enjoy. And if you're watching, obviously you have getting some kind of enjoyment out of it. So in kind, just hitting the like button lets me as well as YouTube know, yes, I enjoy the content. Yes, I still want her to be around. Yes, she is relevant. So I'm hitting the like button. So that's what the like button or the thumbs up means. That's what subscribing means. There's no cost to it, even though I do have a membership program that does have a monthly cost to it, but it's, you can join it, not join it, or whatever you want to do. I do hope that some more of you will join, but most importantly is hitting the subscribe button and the like button and sharing, and also that notification button, so you'll know whenever I'm on, especially with my channel. You'll know I'm here every Tuesday night from 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's my soap opera for the night. And so since it is now 9:58, and I've asked everybody to please do that for me, I do appreciate it. I thank you so much for all of your support that you do give me. We have fun, we have a nice time, and hopefully I do give you useful information. And I do get useful information from you guys. So it is a give and take situation. And I appreciate that so much. And for those of you that are in the so along, I will see you, if it's the Lord's will, tomorrow night, and we will have fun. And I will be cutting and not sewing. I will see you guys tomorrow. Good night. Take care. See you next week.